Happy Sunday, everybody. Good day. Welcome to Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living. It's wonderful to be with you today. Let's just take a breath. Let us just allow the breath to ground us in this present right now moment. So wherever you were, gather yourself and come here now. All right, wonderful. So I am revmelissa. I am the spiritual director, senior minister here at Rockland Centers for Spiritual Living. So that's where we're going today. Respect the in-between. And I think I'm going to get right into it. The in-between can feel like we're in limbo. It could feel like we're lost, like we don't know where to go, what to do. It is that in the meantime space. Iyanla Vanzant has a book called In the Meantime, and I read it over 20 years ago. It mainly focuses on relationships, and it was what I needed at the time, to focus on relationships, but it really can relate to any area in your life. I needed it because I had just broken off my engagement and I was questioning everything in my life, the choices I was making, what I perceive as the time I had wasted, all of the things. And so one of the things that she writes in the book is this: the meantime is fraught with don't knows and can't do's. Don't know where I'm going. Don't know how I'm going to get there. Wherever there is, doubt, confusion, reluctance, and paralysis are all characteristics of the meantime. If you knew the answers to these questions, you would be just fine. In the meantime, fine is probably not one of them. That perfectly captured how I was feeling at that time. What in the world am I supposed to do now? My pattern, you see, had been to just get into another relationship. There was never a time from, let's say, a teenager through my 20s that I was not in a relationship. As a matter of fact, when I saw that the relationship was going to go left, I would queue up my next relationship just to have it on standby, because I could not bear not being in a relationship. So there was no in-between time. There was no breathing space. I would just go from one to the next. And sometimes, don't tell anybody, y'all, there was some overlap. So we could substitute that relationship for a job, our health, our relationship with a family member or friends. Substitute it for whatever it is. You know how people say, I'm in between jobs right now? For the first time in my life, I was in between relationships, because something spoke to me and said, don't do what you would normally do. Don't do that. Just stay right here in the pain. Just stay right here in the pain. So I was in the in-between, the time when we are not sure what to do next, when we don't have clear answers. We know that this is not our final destination. We know that, but it certainly feels like it is. That is the in-between. Can anyone relate to this? All right, I see some hands up. I see some hands up. Yes, yes. So we want things to be different, right? sometimes drastically different, but nothing appears to be happening. This is our opportunity to choose to respect the in-between, to choose to respect the discomfort of uncertainty, and to fortify our trust in our journey. Discomfort, how does discomfort feel? It feels uncomfortable. It just does. So in the in-between, it feels uncomfortable. So when I ended that relationship and I felt like, what am I going to do now? I felt like I had disappointed my whole family because my whole family loved this man, right? They had our whole life planned out for them, for us. So they made it even more difficult to end it. Substitute in a job. Everyone thinks this is the right job for you. You think this is the right job to you. It's paying you a whole bunch of money. And so you stay. When your heart is calling you to do something else. So what I learned is that although it felt like I wasn't on my spiritual path, I realized that there is never a time when I am not. I was born on my spiritual path, in my spiritual path. My first breath was my physical connection to my spiritual path. So it's challenging to respect something that you are not aware of. But some of us are not aware that we are on our spiritual path, even when we are in the midst of relationships ending, jobs ending, health challenges, disappointments, discomforts. We are still on our spiritual path. And we don't give ourselves the opportunity to respect that in-between time. So, like I said, I would quickly fill up the space with another relationship, and it had become a dysfunctional pattern that needed healing. So this time, I didn't do what I would normally do. I stayed my butt in the in-between. So when we respect the in-between, we are giving ourselves an opportunity for something else to come in, because there is space for it to come into. Respect the in-between by giving yourself some grace that you really are doing the best that you can. I was like, what is wrong with me? Everyone thinks this guy is the best thing since sliced bread. But we know sliced bread ain't good for us, right? Respect the in-between as an opportunity to be still and know that this is part of your journey. Respect the in-between, releasing any resistance to what is. We resist what is. We are really good at resisting what is. We're good at talking about what had happened, right? Who don't love a good what had happened story? We all do. But the in-between is an opportunity for us to take responsibility. Yes, because my fingerprints were all over that relationship also. To forgive ourselves and to forgive others. And that in between gives us the opportunity to do and start that process. So remember last week I talked about the definition and the origin of the word respect. And those of y'all know that I love the origin of words, the vibration of the word. And so respect, the origin of the word respect is to look back and pay attention to. So when we respect the in-between, we are respecting looking back from where we were to where we are now and pay attention to the choices that we made along the way. Now, was this difficult for me to do? To take responsibility, to look at the choices that I had made in spite of the red flags that were like, hey, girl, right? It was difficult. It was painful. And it was okay. It was okay that it was all of those things. So we respect the in-between by just allowing ourselves to be in that space. Iyanla Vanzant writes in the book that I mentioned, In the Meantime, she writes, you will stay in the meantime for as long as it takes to get your inner workings in order. So my pattern of jumping from relationship to relationship to relationship did not allow for the space in between to get my inner workings in order. As a matter of fact, I was avoiding my inner workings like the plague. I didn't want no parts of my inner workings, right? But the inner workings is where we need to go. When we respect the in-between time as a gift, it signals to the universe that you are preparing yourself for the next phase of your spiritual journey. Remember, you are still on your spiritual path. The in-between gives breathing space that protects us and prepares us. Protects us and prepares us for the next leg of our journey. You are gathering the necessary tools, right? You're integrating the lessons. Yes? You're resting your nervous system. And you're taking the opportunity to begin to see yourself from a higher perspective because those inner workings are now working. The in-between serves as a catalyst to a deeper awareness of who, and as Jan said, whose we are. Who and whose we are. It is an opportunity to transform from victim consciousness to being consciousness. It is an opportunity to remember again who and whose you are. We say in our teachings that things don't happen to us. We say things happen for us, right? The in-between gives you the breathing space to go within and travel from this happened to me to the field of love consciousness of this happened for me. Many of us stay in that victim place. Look what he did to me. Oh, it's lovely to be there. I love telling that story about what he had done to me. Right? It felt good to play the victim in the story. But it wasn't serving me in a way that I needed it to serve me to move forward. Because that was an old story of what someone had done to me. And so I got to respect myself, own my power, and say to myself, wait a minute, this happened for me. What for? What for, God? That's what I said. Okay, I get that it happened for me, but what for? Right? It's so that I would not bypass it again. Spiritual bypasses. Me jumping into another relationship was my version of a spiritual bypass. So it's not just about changing our thinking. And I know change your thinking, change your life. Yes. And it's important to feel our feelings and to listen to our inner workings, to our soul. If you don't believe me, Ernest said it himself in the Science of Mind text on page 344. I'm not making this up. The highest mental practice is to listen to this inner voice and to declare its presence. I'm going to say that sentence again. The highest mental practice is to listen to this inner voice and to declare its presence. The greater our awareness of this indwelling I am, the more fully we live. When stuff happens, we think and 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 think about it. And we want other people to think and 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 think about it too. But Ernest said, the highest mental practice is to listen. He did not say the highest mental practice is to think. Thinking is a mental practice. Yes, it is. But it's not the highest mental practice. So listening, we respect the in-between by listening to that indwelling I am. And every last one of us has an indwelling I am. All of us. So the in-between gives us space to literally lift our spirits by listening to that indwelling I am that I am. That I am that I am that is always whispering to us. And it's not whispering sweet nothings. It's whispering sweet everythings. It's whispering your name. It's reminding you of who and whose you are. But we have to listen. We have to listen. The in-between awakens us to the truth that we are still on our spiritual path. Yes, I felt lost. And I am still on my spiritual path. That relationship served a purpose in my life. It was this relationship that introduced me to Science of Mind. It was this relationship that took me to my first service at Lincoln Center, and I heard Stuart Grayson one Sunday, and the next Sunday I heard Eric Butterworth, and my whole life changed. He doesn't know, but it was, well, then I told him a couple of years later, y'all, we're friends. He doesn't know at the time that what he was really introducing me to was myself. Oh, come on, y'all. Because everything and everyone serves our purpose. And sometimes that service don't feel so good, but it is. Don't get hung up on the in-between and the way that it looks. We got to see beyond that. And we see beyond that by going within and by listening to our intuition. I was in that relationship, I think, for like 4 years. Within the first year, I saw red flags, but I ignored them. I'm seeing things. Everyone thinks he's fabulous. Like, what's wrong with me? Listen to your intuition. I would have dreams about him with other women. And then I would tell him about the dreams. And then he would sit there and analyze the dreams with me. Come on now. This was an awesome guy. We could do dream work together. Oh, come on now. Who don't want that in their life? But no, I wasn't listening. I wasn't respecting myself. I wasn't respecting myself. Iana says in that same book, now you are in the meantime, which is life's opportunity to get clear, get real, and heal yourself in preparation for giving and receiving the one thing we all want: pure, honest, unconditional love. But I had to have that for myself. I had been searching for it in these other relationships. Pure, honest, unconditional love for yourself is respect. So I have some love work for you. I gave you some love work last week. Anyone do it? It was the 3 P's: prioritize, practice, and pay. Remember, prioritize self-care. One of the ways that we take care of ourselves is by taking care of our heart and our mind. So prioritize self-care. How do you demonstrate respect for yourself? What do you do for your self-care? And I recommended that we all double it this month. Practice giving from the fullness of who you are and not from the emptiness. When you have an empty cup and you pour, nothing comes out. So we have to give from the fullness. So we get to practice that, right? And then pay attention to what has your attention. Pay attention to what has your attention and establish respectful boundaries. And I suggested that we use our quality to help us establish respectful boundaries to guide us along this journey of our spiritual path. And so the 4th P is preparation. Preparation. Remember, respecting the in-between signals to the universe that you are preparing for the next phase of your spiritual journey. The in-between protects and prepares us. So we get to respect ourselves by spending some quiet time with yourself and just listen. Prepare yourself to listen. To just go within, go somewhere and get quiet. And I'm not saying go on a retreat. I'm not saying climb a mountaintop. I'm saying go somewhere at home, around your neighborhood, Don't make it a big event. We love to do that. That's a delaying tactic. It could be your bathroom. I love to go in the bathroom and listen. Find a space. Get still within yourself. The inner workings are working. And listen. Listen to what pure, honest, unconditional love has to say to you. I guarantee it will remind you again who you are and whose you are. And then just write it down. And it's important for us to write it down because we forget. So we write it down and then we repeat. So who will say yes to that? Preparation. All right, I see the hands. Just twice this week, a baby step. And if you say, revmelissa, I don't hear anything, just be still. Give yourself some time because it may be a long time since you have listened. And so things inside are going, wait, what's going on? What are we doing here? Where are we? Right? So just give yourself some time, some space. All right. So we got our 4 P's. Prioritize, practice, pay, and preparation. So I want to close this with a poem by John O'Donohue. And it's called For Belonging. So I invite you to just go within. Let this sermon, this message, just settle in to your bones as I share this with you. May you listen to your longing to be free. May the frames of your belonging be large enough for the dreams of your soul. May you arise each day with a voice of blessing whispering in your ear. Something good is going to happen to you. May you find harmony between your soul and your life. May the mansion of your soul never become a haunted place. May you know the eternal longing that lies at the heart of time. May there be kindness in your gaze when you look within. May you never place walls between the light and yourself. May you be set free from the prisons of guilt, fear, disappointment, and despair. May you allow the wild beauty of the invisible world to gather you, mind you, and embrace you in belonging. May you listen to your longing to be free. And so it is. Amen. So that's what we get to do for ourselves, right? In that in-between time. Get quiet and remember who and whose you are. Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and blessings.